Assemblyman Anthony Brindisi standing by right now. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Bill. How are you?
Good. Good to hear from you.
Nice.
We actually had potentially an opponent of yours on the radio earlier in the week, who is a Nicholas Wan, who has entered the congressional race and is entered as a Republican and is going to challenge Claudia Tenney. Have you had a chance to meet him, speak with him at all?
First I heard about him was this week. I have not had a chance to meet him or speak to him, but I did see the article that appeared in the Post-Standard, and I had heard that he was on your show.
We had him on, and I got to tell you that he's billed as a conservative, and even a few of his videos on Facebook make it seem as if he's coming into the right of Congresswoman Tenney. But I don't know if you had a chance to hear the interview that we did with him, but he might be flanking left of you. He seemed quite Bernie Sanders-like. I was really surprised.
Well, from what I read in the article, he's for Medicare for all, but he's also for less immigration, if not any immigration whatsoever into the country. It's almost
the only stance he has that is conservative or even far right of the right is his stance on the Dreamers and DACA and all of that. Everything else seems to be in line with more Bernie Sanders than anybody else.
I think it's a lot of people are upset with Congress these days. You look at the health care bill that Ms. Tenney voted for that takes 23 million Americans off their health insurance, or you look for the bill that she voted for to basically sell your personal information to internet service providers to allow that stuff to happen, or more recently with the tax reform bill and the budget resolution she voted for, which would take $500 billion out of Medicare to pay for a tax cut for billionaires on Wall Street. So people are upset with Congress these days. Congress is not getting anything done. It's like a do-nothing Congress, and people are upset.
Listen, it's a fact of life, and it's Congresswoman can say, we're not about raising money, we're not about, but I get the emails where she's holding fundraisers and looking for money, and additionally, there's going to be a lot of money that is being put behind her. This is one of the key races that's going to be coming up next year. There's going to be a lot of money spent here by Republicans and Democrats. You, I read this week, you have just announced almost $500,000. How important is that if you're running for Congress right now?
Well, I wish money wasn't as important as it is in these elections, but in order to run a competitive race, you have to raise money. But I'm proud to say that we raised that money from not taking any corporate PAC money. I've made a pledge in the beginning of this campaign that I'm not going to take any corporate PAC money because I don't want dark money influencing my election. So we've been raising it off individuals, and the bulk of those contributions have been under $200, and they're from New York State. They're largely within the district. Many people are giving $5, $10 donations online, and it's really helping to fuel the campaign. But it's also, I think, a sign that people are very dissatisfied with our current representative and really the positions that she has taken against the interest of the people here in upstate New York. And whether it's the health care thing or tax reform or whatever it may be, it seems like she sides more with Wall Street and the interest in D.C. as opposed to the people up here in upstate New York.
You haven't had to give back any Harvey Weinstein money, have you? Because the governor just announced that he's giving back. He's giving money back.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
as he should.
Okay, so I do want to ask you your thoughts on what the president is doing right now. And basically, through executive order, which he always criticized, he's criticized President Obama over executive order, but and criticized President Obama because he couldn't get stuff done through Congress, wasn't even getting along with Democrats. Boy, that sounds unbelievably familiar right now, doesn't it?
It does. Well, it's the issue yesterday that he did with the executive order, which really is going to undermine the Affordable Care Act and create substandard insurance policies for people, is pretty dangerous territory. And I'm someone who wants to work with the president where we can find common ground. I'm going to do that. But what we need to be doing in this country right now is we need to make sure that our health insurance markets are strong. And the reason we see rising premiums is because of all the uncertainty surrounding the Affordable Care Act, withholding subsidies by the Health and Human Services Department to insurance carriers. That's what's creating these rising premiums, and really to undermine the stability of the Affordable Care Act is going to send shockwaves throughout the insurance system. So people, not just on the exchanges, but all across the country, healthcare costs are going to go up because of, I think, what happened yesterday.
Yeah.
What we have to be doing is we have to make sure, in my opinion, is we got to work together, shore up the problems with the Affordable Care Act. Let's look at the issue of high costs due to high premiums due to rising costs. Go after prescription drug companies. People are paying more in prescription drug costs these days than they ever have in this country's history. We can put caps on those drug costs. We can make sure that we allow the government to negotiate with these drug companies to help lower prices, which they can't do right now because of the way the law is set up. So let's look for ways to lower costs, not do what we're doing, not do what happened yesterday.
I want to take a different angle on this. And, you know, some are saying, I think Paul Ryan is saying this. This might be a very good strategic move by the president, who's working with the Congress, Republicans and Democrats, that he can get absolutely nothing done. So he really, by this executive order, he's yanking all this money out of Obamacare. And isn't he really forcing Congress? They're going to have to do something. And it's going to be hard for them, I think, to put the blame on him when he's going to say, listen, you guys can fix this.
Well, I don't have a lot of faith in Congress right now to do the right thing and fix this. And you look at New York State right now is looking at something like a $4 billion hit in our budget next year because of inaction on Congress on two programs. One is the Child Health Insurance Program, which expired on September 30th, which is a health insurance program that provides parents can purchase health insurance to children who won't qualify for Medicaid. That program expired on September 30th. And instead of fixing it like they should be doing right now, the Republicans sent everyone home yesterday for a 3-day weekend so they can, go back to their districts and do whatever they got to do. But what they should be doing is staying in Washington and fixing that. The other thing is what's going to happen to our public hospitals and our safety net hospitals. They were guaranteed payments under the Affordable Care Act, which those payments have expired. These are payments to help subsidize these hospitals, which see a larger percentage of people who come through their doors who do not have any health insurance. So hospitals have to take everybody, especially if you're a public hospital or a safety net hospital, but you get reimbursed by the feds when they can't pay. That money's gone now, and instead of renewing the program, Congress decided to go home and not deal with it at all. That's going to be a hit on New York State's budget, and we're going to have to try and find ways to make up those costs. And who knows where it's going to come from at this point in time.
Listen, these are issues we would not probably. This issue here is not something I would normally talk to you about, but as a candidate for Congress, it's something you would be dealing with if you become our congressman here on the 22nd, and that is the Iran deal. The president, again, very strategic and somewhat political, he campaigned against this deal, and I know we just heard Rush saying it's a bad deal. The problem is everybody else, pretty much in the world, people within the military and outside, and strategists, all saying that this is the best deal we can get with Iran, and getting out is going to be a real problem for the United States. But the president's not getting out. He's really passing this over to Congress once again. What are your thoughts?
Again, I don't have faith in Congress. They've accomplished zero this year, zero, and I don't trust them to do anything with this either. It's an issue. I had an issue with the Iran deal when it first came out, but it's there now. And the worry I have is if we're going to, as a country, start backing out of a deal like that, it's going to send signals to other countries that maybe we can't negotiate with the United States in good faith anymore if they're going to back out of deals. So we got to be very careful with that. And, when you have General Mattis and others who are speaking in favor of keeping it to help stability in the world, I trust a lot what General Mattis has to say, and I would follow his counsel on this one.
Going to be interesting to see what comes of all of this, and if Congress can get anything done. Anything at this point.
Not looking good so far. I mean, what they're trying to do right now is they want tax reform, which is great. I think we should be looking at how we can provide tax cuts for middle class and working class families. But if you look at the tax reform package that they've put out there, and who it's geared towards. It's geared towards the Wall Street executives. It's geared towards billionaires. That's who's going to be the biggest beneficiary under these tax plans, not middle-class Americans. And the biggest thing that we're going to see here in New York State, which we have to keep our eye on, is that they want to repeal the state and local deductions, so you can no longer deduct your state and local taxes on your federal income taxes. That would be a huge tax increase to all New Yorkers across the spectrum who own homes, and that's something that would just really cripple us here in New York State.
That would result in an increase, you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
It would be an increase because you're no longer allowed to deduct that off your federal tax form. So that's a big problem here in New York State, and I don't know what our representatives are doing about it. Doesn't seem like much.
Going to be interesting. Again, Anthony Brindisi, Assemblyman, thanks so much for your time. We appreciate it. We will talk again. Have a great weekend. By the way, enjoy these the abnormal temperatures. It's just it's going to be we're going to hit 80 on Sunday. It's incredible.
It's the leaves. I don't know what's going on with these leaves. You know, they're not changing as fast as I thought they should.
They certainly are. And when they do change, they're saying the colors aren't as